Hey everybody, so today I'm going to get my hands a little dirty and I am going to give my husband's old stools a facelift. Let me show you what I'm working with. So these are the round stools that I am working with. They are 12 inches and I'm sure my husband has had these at least 10 years. And I think it's about time for a facelift. So I went over to Joann's Fabric and found this 2-pack of 16-inch round foam cushion for the stools. And because the stools that I have are 12 inches, I'm just going to cut them down to size. This is going to be my first time attempting an upholstery project, so I am going to take you all on my journey. I started by flipping the stool over to work on the placement. Then I outline the stool as a reminder because I will remove the stool from the foam to cut the foam down to size. Now, I did not realize how thick and difficult the foam would be to cut with these non-fabric scissors, and that was my bright idea. So please forgive me if you see me struggling throughout this part of the project. I definitely made this part harder on myself. So if you plan to do this project and you think you need scissors, please make sure to have upholstery shears handy. So now instead of me using my fabric scissors to cut the foam, I use my husband's box cutter and these small scissors. That was not a smart idea. However, I broke down and used my fabric scissors for the second stool. Now, I did not want to use my fabric scissors to cut the foam because I feared that it could probably make my scissors dull. But I guess it wouldn't hurt to have a good pair of quality shears around the house anyway. You may not notice it right now, but you will begin to notice that the edges of the foam are jagged. But after the fabric is installed, you will barely notice the jagged edges. Please do not do what I did and think you're going to breeze through this project with box cutters and non-professional scissors because these things gave me a run for my money, but you live and you learn. So now you should be able to start seeing that these edges are extremely jagged, but please don't worry. I promise it's going to work out. Let me tell you all, I love the show Flea Market Flip. This project reminds me so much of that show, but don't let them fool you because it looks a lot of fun, but know that this type of project requires a lot of patience and it would be nice to have a helping hand as well. Now, usually they tell you to find diamonds at the flea market, but forget the flea market. It could be diamonds in your own home. Trust me, after sitting on these stools for a long period of time painting, this project idea was right on time. I'm looking forward to using these stools now. Just bear with me. I don't have much longer to cut the foam and the real fun will begin. I'm almost done. We about to get to the last cut. Whoo! Now that took some time. So now I'm about to put the stool back on top of the foam just to make sure that I have the proper placement. Now I am laying the fabric flat on the table, but that was prior to me deciding to use spray adhesive. The reason I use spray adhesive for this project is because I did not want any of the parts to accidentally shift on me. Also, whenever I use fabric for any project, the fabric is already pre-shrunk, and that means I have washed and dried my fabric. So whenever I purchase fabric, I usually pre-shrink it as soon as I get home, and that saves me a lot of time for when I get this spark of creativity to make something, because then the only thing that I have to do prior to starting the project is iron the fabric. And I skip over the part in the beginning of this project where I was simply ironing the fabric. I'm going to remove the stool from the foam, spray the foam with the spray adhesive, place the stool back on top of the foam, making sure that they adhere to each other well enough to not shift on me while installing the fabric. Now, I was hard-headed for this first stool because I sprayed this adhesive indoors again, and I sprayed it on the other side of the foam as well because I did not want the fabric to shift on me either. Yes, I had a mask on. However, I used more spray this time, and my husband told me how strong the spray was this time. So for the second stool that I upgraded, I went outdoors for the safety of everyone in the home. So I allowed a little bit of time to go by to give this adhesive enough time to dry prior to me installing the fabric. So I'm going to press down on this and tug it a little bit just to make sure that it's sticky enough prior to me moving on. When I sprayed the top of the phone that the fabric will face, I was out of the camera's view, so I cut it. But if you notice, I tugged on the fabric, making sure that it was firmly on the foam and it would not shift on me as I cut the fabric in a circular shape. What I am doing now is my way of determining how much fabric is needed for this project. However, I probably used about 1 to 2 yards of fabric. And let me tell you, I love African printed fabric, and I have an abundance of that type of fabric at home. So I did not go to the store and purchase fabric for this project. I used what I had. So this project was not too expensive for me. The 2 pack of foam was about $23, and of course, I had a coupon. If you watched my video where I repurposed an old painting, I shared that the pressure setting knob popped off during the project and I couldn't get it back on. Well, the staple gun finally started breaking down on me during this project and I have to return it. So if you notice me holding the staple gun awkwardly, that is why. I was determined to complete this project though, but unfortunately it has to go back. I said it in the wall decor video and I will say it again. This project is more for parents. I do not suggest this type of project for little ones because of the staple gun, but that's me and my protective bear nature. If you decide to do this project with your kids, use your best judgment on assigning specific tasks and take every measure of precaution. I am tugging on the fabric enough to make sure it's not too loose and ensuring that the jagged edges are not going to be noticeable. Installing the fabric is the part of the project that will take the most time. The first stool took the longest time, but the second stool, I almost breezed through that because I was now more familiar with the project. I am using the same method I used for the wall decor project. I am folding the fabric under, then stapling it to the wood. So now you will notice where I begin to hold the staple gun awkwardly because I'm trying to hold the pressure setting knob in place so that I can continue on with this project. Again, for this project, I try not to cut the fabric too much because I don't want to risk not having enough fabric to staple to the bottom of this wood. And just so you'll know, I am using the 8mm size staples for this project. Now, I'm not sure if it looks like this to you, but to me, from this angle on the left side of the stool, it looks like the fabric is kind of scrunched or bunched on each other, but it's not. It's actually just the folds of the fabric. We are halfway through the first stool. I did speed the video up because I didn't want to make it too long, but that's all I'm doing. I'm folding the fabric under, making sure everything lays neatly, and stapling it to the wood. I can feel the anticipation of getting closer to the end. I'm so excited. Since I'm filming the first stool, I am not going to film the second stool. I'm just repeating the process, even though I did get better and faster, but they are both beautiful. Just to recap, the things I used to transform these stools were, of course, the stools, fabric, foam cushion, spray adhesive, and a staple gun. The only thing I purchased from the store for this project is the foam. I gotta tell you, I am on a creative roll during the pandemic. I am not worried about being stuck in the house because I can find plenty of things to do. And instead of spending my money decorating this season, I'm finding plenty of ways to spice up our home. From wall decor to furnishing, wherever my creativity leads me, I will follow. We're getting close to the end, so I don't think I left anything out, but if you have any questions or comments, please remember to leave them in the section below. And before I forget, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications when we drop our videos. As you can see, you may not notice the foam's jagged edges anymore. You mainly see the folds of the fabric. Again, I'm cutting away the extra fabric, so when I fold the fabric under, it is not bulky. If you've watched this video to this point, I really appreciate you, and I hope that I've inspired you to decide what deserves an upgrade in your home by simply adding fabric to it. Now, remember, as TLC said, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Don't just jump out there trying to tackle hard projects that should be left up to the professionals. Ease your way into those harder projects as you tackle the smaller ones first. Again, thank you so much for watching. Stick around to see the photo at the end, and I'll let you finish watching the video without me talking. See you later.